So, George St. Pierre wants to fight Khabib, apparently. And I really don't know how I feel about this one. On the one hand, you have George, a 40-year-old man who has fought in 170 for most of his career, went up to 185 most recently, and won a belt, and has apparently been doing practice weight cuts. He's been getting himself prepped to go down to lightweight, and that's just something that I don't like. I don't want to see the career. Obviously, his career won't be tarnished, but his image, at least in this current media day and this current media situation, I know that we all believe his image would definitely be tarnished, especially by the casuals of the MMA sport. So we got a 40-year-old, the greatest of all time in many people's eyes, wanting to go down to a weight class that he really didn't fight at for either the majority of his career, his title run, nor his, one fight comeback against Bisping, which pretty much cemented him, in most people's eyes, above Anderson Silva. And on the other hand, you have a 32-year-old Khabib. I believe he's 32. I just looked him up a little while ago. Who is still in the midst of a dominant run, who is showing that he is still a fantastic wrestler and that he also has an overhand right. And some people, like Mike Chandler, will make the case that he is simply just a decent wrestler with an overhand right, which I think, we can all see that isn't true. He's probably the best wrestler the sport has ever seen. If I'm going to go off my personal eye test, just going off my stuff. And he also does have a considerable overhand right that dropped Conor McGregor in a lucky exchange. But he still does not have the stand-up to back up, if he gets into a corner or if he meets a really good wrestler. But the thing with Khabib, especially what we're going to see going against Gaethje, who's a fantastic defensive wrestler, he has done this against good defensive wrestlers. He's done this at high levels. And he is still in his prime, in a dominant run. And George, while he is talking himself into believing, if you listen to the interview, he is pretty much trying to talk himself into that fight. He believes that he's still in his best years. And that's understandable. Athletes know their body better than anybody else, but I don't think so, George. What are you going to do against Khabib? I mean, you're going to go in there, you're going to be so much better in stand-up than him, but my only worry comes when Khabib takes him down, and inevitably that will happen. George is fantastic on the ground. He submitted Bisping, was it 3 years ago at this point? It was when I was a freshman in college, so it was a while ago. He submitted Bisping. He's obviously very good on the ground, as most champions should be. But Jesus, what would he do? What would George St. Pierre do to Khabib Nurmagomedov with this big of an age gap? He's been out of the gym. Sure, he's not out of the gym, out of the ring, out of the octagon, and it doesn't matter that much for him. He has shown that ring rust doesn't matter. But, and there's a really big but on this, but he is going up against the most dominant champion that we have seen since, John Jones, him, St. Pierre himself, Silva, Demetrius Johnson, Mighty Mouse. He's in that realm of dominant lightweight champions right now, or just dominant champions overall, I should say. And honestly, I just don't see George actually winning that fight. And Dana himself has said that the only real obstacle to Khabib and GSP getting done is Justin Gaethje at the moment. Assuming, as most people probably do, that Khabib beats Gaethje in this next upcoming fight, which my prediction on that later. Honestly, that fight, as Dana says, will probably be offered. And I believe in my heart of hearts that it is a mistake to make that fight. Simply due to the age, due to GSP's legacy, due to him being out of the sport for so long and there being a wealth of contenders at lightweight. And, GSP would sell. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that in any way. GSP versus Khabib would be huge. It would probably, to be completely honest, be bigger than Conor Khabib too, because a lot of people are done with Conor. Even after his big knockout at Cowboy, the general consensus on Conor is kind of starting to sour. Even if, I don't know if he's even trying to clean up his act at this point, let's be honest. He just keeps getting into so much trouble. But disregarding any more Conor talk in this video, I just don't think that's the fight to make right now. I believe that Tony Ferguson's not going to get made until he gets another win. It's kind of clear. The next Conor fight will probably be made if he gets another win against Poirier. Let's see. So many people have left. Just trying to think of contenders off the top of my head. But that's the real, juicy meat of the lightweight division right now. And having a guy that fought at 170 his entire career and most recently fought at 185. True, he's been doing his weight cuts. He's been doing everything. I just don't think that would be good for the sport. It would be another precedent that GSP would be setting, that he just goes in there to have a mercenary fight. And sure, that's great. Khabib would probably recapture the title or retire, because he and his father's dream has always been retiring at 30-0. I still don't know if that's going to happen. Hasn't been confirmed by him yet, but if that does happen, great. Man, I just don't think it's the thing to do. And Dana has already set a precedent with GSP in the past to do this, but then it just put the middleweight division in shambles for a little while until Whitaker got the title. So yeah, those are honestly my thoughts on this. I just don't think that George should be doing any kind of fighting right now. I think he retired for a reason. He retired on top. He had the perfect moment against Bisping and then threw that division into shambles. So on the off chance that this fight gets made and on the even slimmer chance that George wins this fight, this would just throw the division in shambles, and I kind of don't want to see it. So, yeah, have a good one, guys, and get my next video out soon.